Hello again. Today, or even better, tonight, with Mateusz Żurawski and Grzesiek Linkiewicz, we prepared for you next material, which will be some kind of the aid for your project of engineering drawing. Okay, and today we will speak about how to lock some elements which will be in the middle on our shaft. Of course, we can use that some kind of the connection for the elements which will be on the ends, but typically it's quite convenient solution for fix some element, like for example our bearing or our bevel gear, which will be in the middle of our shaft. Okay, and the name of that connection, or maybe of that kind of the fixation, it is the nut, bearing nut and lock washer. Okay, and our bearing nut, it's a really simple nut, cylindrical nut with some extra keyways or key seats which are along a whole circumference of our element. Okay, and I will draw how it looks like if we are talking about section of our element. Okay, let's start with the axis of the symmetry of our element, edges. It will be something like that. Okay, here we see our chamfer. It will be rest of the contour. I will make the center line a little longer. Okay, and the same situation and the same thing on the other side. Okay, something like that. Chamfer and radial line. Inside our bearing nut, we will see the hole, some extra chamfers. Okay, somewhere here, extra chamfers, which will be to make that screw connection in proper way. And important thing, thin line connected with the thread. Okay, and of course I will make the rest of the lines. Here we see that chamfers lines, I mean the radial lines. And of course we have to denote somehow that keyways which will be on the whole circumference. Okay, and like in case of the toothed wheel, I mean the gear, I will put that by the part which will be given by view. Okay, it means that that extra key seats or the keyways we will show like it will be in view, like the section plane will be provided along that keyways. Okay, and of course hatching to empathize that here we have the part of material, the same inclination. Okay, next thing it will be lock washer, and it's some kind of the special washer with the teeth along the whole circumference. We see that thing, and other thing, we see that inside our lock washer we have something extra element, some extra element which will be used to lock the position if we are talking about the rotational motion of our lock washer. And I will draw that thing. Okay, it will be, here I have the center line. I will draw the contour. Oh, sorry. I will draw the contour. Here we see that here we see the diameter of our hole, because that diameter of, here we have the diameter of the hole, but it will be the external diameter of the thread of the screw, and that is why hole inside the lock washer has to be approximately the same. Okay, here we have the part with the solid material. I will denote that thing by hatching, and of course I have to put also that teeth, and it is something like that. Sometimes on some drawings we can find that, like in the case of the bevel gear, I will show you in the moment. Look, if I have, it's really it's a similar situation to the bevel gear. And look, if I think about the bevel gear, here we have the extra radial line. That is why I will put that radial line here. It depends on the book, because sometimes it's showed in the book, sometimes not. Okay, and also I mentioned last time that there is some extra element inside. It's some kind of the key, and that key will be visible, and it will be here. Okay, Very similar like in case of the gear and the section of the hub. Okay, and how to use such two elements to fix some element on our shaft. Okay, I will remind you how our situation look like. We see the shaft, some step for the bearing, some extra step which fixed the right hand side of our bearing and our bearing. Okay, I will draw that situation, and let's start with the center line. Let's make the step for the bearing. Of course, it will be ended with chamfer. Here we have the fixing step. I will break that thing because rest of our shaft isn't especially interesting for us. And now I will draw the bearing. Oh, maybe I will make also that line a little bit longer. Okay, and next thing, bearing. Here we have our bearing, and that bearing should be a little bit longer than our step, our embedding step. Okay, and of course inside the bearing rolling element, inner outer railway, and light lines to denote the center of that rolling element and solid material inside our bearing. Okay, and what will be the next step? Next step, it will be prepare that place which will be some kind of the screw for that screw connection with that nut. Okay, I mean I will prepare some kind of the screw on our shaft. Okay, it means that I have to make some extra step. It will be somewhere here, maybe a little bit farther. It will be something like that. Here we have special place which sometimes is called undercut. It's for the finish, the machining of our thread. It's important element, and the diameter of that thing will be, almost the same, little smaller than the thread line. If we're talking about the assembly drawing, we can put that line on the same level as the sorry, of course it will be blue line, on the same level as our thread line. And now we have some kind of the screw, because we remember that the screw, it's any part with the external thread. Okay, and also I will put the next step of the shaft, and I will break that thing because it isn't, the rest of our shaft isn't especially interesting for us. Okay, and what next? Let's draw our bearing nut. Okay, we have to remember about that space for the lock washer, and that is why I will keep some space. Here we have the one face of our bearing nut. Okay, here we have that chamfer, the lateral area, and the second face of our nut. We remember that the order of the visibility is as follows. I mean, first thing it will be screw. That is why screw is first if we're talking about the views. And the second thing, it will be section of our nut. Okay? It means that that heavy line hides somehow the light line connected with the thread inside our nut. Only that area will be section of visible area of the section of the nut. That is why here I can provide the light line which will be connected with the thread. Okay, and also I have to provide here the chamfer, because we remember that there is something like the chamfer inside our bearing nut. Okay, and now I can put the light lines connected with the hatching. Oh, I forgot about the important thing. We have to remember about that. It's a bearing nut. It means that I have to show that elements along the circumference. And like I mentioned, it will be given like teeth along a circumference hole, toothed wheel. Okay, and now light lines to empathize solid material, I mean hatching. Okay, and here we have our bearing nut, and now I'm able to put the lock washer. Okay, and what about the lock washer? It will be approximately something like that. Okay, I mean here we have that core of our lock washer. Here we have that teeth which are along the circumference, and here I put that one tooth which will be put inside that keyway. Okay, I mean one of that one of the teeth will be bent and will be put inside that thing to lock our bearing. Okay, and sometimes it can be hatched, sometimes not. If we're talking about our previous material, I mean I prepare some similar material for Polish students, it is in Polish, I will put here without the hatching, because sometimes you can find the papers that it can be with hatching, sometimes without hatching. This time I will make it with the hatching. Okay, to show you that we can two ways to distinguish that thing. Oh, sorry, it should be black line. Black light line with different inclination. Okay, and with different density to distinguish somehow hatching of the bearing and hatching of our lock washer. Okay, and I have to finish that thing. I mean, I will put the radial lines here, and now it's really good visible that here we have the same and a little bit bigger diameter than the diameter of the step with the thread. And second thing, and it will be the last thing, we have to remember that, like I mentioned, there is some extra element here. Okay, I mean here we see that thing which will be to fix somehow our lock washer on the shaft, and that is why I have to put that thing, and for that thing I have to prepare some keyway. I mean it will be key seat, of course, in that case, and it will be approximately somewhere here. Okay, let's change to the blue line, light line, to show you where it will be. Okay, it will be somewhere here. And now we have the important thing, that straight part of the keyway has to end after the end of the bearing. Okay, I mean if we, for example, here we have the end of the bearing, the straight part of the key seat has to be longer. Okay, I mean we have to draw the auxiliary line here, find that point, and next make that straight part longer, and now we are able to make the radius, I mean the fillet, which will be the end of our keyway. Okay, and now it's given by the light line to show you where that key seat will be, but now I, of course, because it will be some parts, some edges, I have to make that lines heavy, because there are edges. And now I can remove that part which will be removed by machining of that key seat. Okay, it means that that edge, that edge, and that edge, and that edge, and that edge won't be visible, because it will be during the machining of that thing will be removed from our element. Okay, and now we have something like that. Okay, it means that here we see some kind of the fastening which can be used to fix some elements on the shaft, and generally the main purpose of using such connection is to fix something in the middle, but of course if you want to, you can use that things also at the ends. Thank you guys, see you next time.